Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Lunkers and Bucks. Today we're out at Ragged Island Wildlife Management Area. Glad to see you. Welcome back. If this is your first time, please like and subscribe. If you've been here for a little bit, good to see you. I hope everything's going well. Ragged Island is about 1,500 acres on the James River in Isle of Wight County, Virginia. Mixture of pine islands, marsh, uh, brackish water, a little bit of everything out here, deer, duck, just about all the wildlife you want to get. And good fishing area too, reds, speckled trouts, catfish, stuff like that. Today we're out duck hunting. Been about 15 years since I've been duck hunting, but as a kid, this is where I came out to play, and it was very productive back then. I'm expecting to get some productivity today as well. Don't have anything I really need outside of a couple decoys and some hip waders and a shotgun. Pine Island, you can walk through that to the very end. It's about a mile and a half. I'm taking the marsh because it's right now a little bit easier. There are sinkholes from place to place, so you got to be careful where you're walking, otherwise you're going to get wet. But it's a great area to hunt. Today, again, I'm going for some duck. But if you're local and you plan on doing some hunting, you're going to see some islands. You're going to see some tips and tricks out here where you can go. Tons of hunters already out here, always are. So wear your blaze orange even if you're duck hunting. Most people know what they're doing, but every so often you get that stray shot. So just make sure people know where you're at. But let's get on it. Beautiful day. Let's find some ducks. As I was walking, I noticed up here on the left, there's 3 hunters already duck hunting, calling in some ducks. Good sign. I hope nobody saw that. Pine islands typically are about 50 yards across. They're super thick. They've got a lot of greenbrier in it. It's got wax myrtles, pine trees, briars, you name it. Pretty thick to get through. There is a trail that runs through it, but again, it can get thick, so that's why I like to walk out on the marsh. Both have its hazards. The nice thing about the island, it's a straight shot, and if there are deer running, you can see it. It's all funneled, trailed together. If you find yourself standing in mud, watch out. There's a sinkhole around you. Whoa. Yeah, there's definitely sinkholes out here. I'll find a couple of them before we're done. The first tip, if there's no grass or you're standing in needle rush, there's a sinkhole somewhere around you, and it'll sink fast. The problem with the needle rush too is it's got sharp points, and when you sink, those needle rushers will stab you. Make sure you've got your glasses on, something of that nature, or again, stick to trails that are obviously used a lot. Again, when it's 30, 40 degrees out here, last thing you want to do is get wet. I've reached that point that it's getting way too soft, so I'm going to go ahead and make a beeline, go through here and find that trail that's on the Pine Islands where it gets more solid. So I'm wearing knee-high duck boots to get out to where I want to do some hunting. I'm carrying a 40-pound pack basically that's got my waders. I've got a chair that I like to use. I've got a couple decoys. So I'm carrying in a little bit of weight, but the duck boots tend to do just fine until I get out to where I'll need to wade into the water. Again, I don't have a dog, which is always nice to get the duck. Last time I came out here, didn't have everything I needed. Had to get down to my skivvies and found a giant piece of styrofoam and had to paddle out and get my duck. So learned a lesson on that. I have never claimed to be the smartest hunter out there. I make every mistake. Everything wrong possible. Fortunately, I've made it this far in life and hoping to continue that process. Here's where the board will normally break and I fall into the water. The trail out to the furthest parts of the park is marked with some blaze orange tape. Fortunately, some other hunter went out there and did that for us, but it's not always consistent. And I'm always looking to find the easiest way through the thick stuff. It gets super thick in some areas where if you don't find the one path, you're crawling on your hands and knees, which is I'm just not doing that. So some of the equipment I use out here, I have knee-high redhead duck boots. Basically, they're good as far as walking, good soles, they stick together, don't fall apart on you. I don't wear my hip waders all the way out because after about a mile walking, it gets super hot. I'll usually backpack the waders in. I also like to use mechanic gloves. Um, you can get them in every color you want. I like bright colors, blaze orange, yellow, something of that nature, because I'll put stuff down out here, and if they're camouflage gloves, I have a hard time finding them. Sometimes I'll even put a blaze orange strip around my shotgun just in case. Sometimes, again, I put it down, forget where I put it. Uh, I need to be able to find my equipment. Same thing with backpacks, all that stuff. I like to light up anything that I can take off of my body. I like to have some type of fluorescent or shiny, bright color so that I can locate it. And heaven forbid I ever get lost or in trouble, I want people that coming out to find me be able to locate me. If I'm in complete camouflage and I get in trouble, they're gonna have a harder time locating me. Again, never really been in trouble, but there's always that first time, and I can always take stuff off if I need to hide from animals, stuff like that. But I've never had an issue with wearing any blaze orange or anything of that nature out here. And again, lots of different hunters just don't know their skill level, so again, I like to be kind of lit up like a Christmas tree. The shotgun I'm using today is a 12 gauge Mossberg. Got it from Dick's a few years back. Pretty heavy. It's a semi-auto. It came with the turkey barrel and, of course, the longer barrel for duck hunting. A little bit heavy for out here as far as the walking distance, but it's accurate as hell. Doesn't really jam that much, and I just love the gun itself. I got a lighter Browning shotgun that I use when I'm in deer hunting and tree stands. But for duck hunting, turkey hunting, you can't go wrong with this 12 gauge. And when I'm duck hunting, I always use 3 to 3.5 inch steel shot. I don't like the lead out here, and of course it could be against the law to be using lead for duck hunting. But I always use steel shot, 3 to 3.5 inch. Now it looks like I found the blaze orange trail that's out here. Fortunately, that's going to save me a lot of time. As you can see, it's right there. It's pretty well marked. Once you get out here, I don't know who did it, but thank you very much.
There's one deer. Something ate it up. Well, there's definitely a buck out here. I've had deer cams out here and seen the bucks. Not very big racks, decent body size. Just never see them during the day. I think the deer that come out here are real skittish, just is away from everything. They run dogs across the water, pretty heavily hunted. So I imagine they get out here early to get away from all that. I've seen does out here during the day, but only after I kicked them up. I've hunted here, but you know, me and a buddy of mine just never saw anything. And it's not a lot of land, so if there's a couple funnels, you sit on the funnels. If there's something coming by, you're not missing them.
This is what I was talking about earlier. If you stay on the brown grass that I'm walking on, you're going to be okay. If you get off into those puddles to the right, which you can see where it's just water, you're going to sink straight down. And as we're coming up, this is the black needle rush that I'm talking about. It looks like it's solid, but in between those grasses, it's just you're going to sink. And I wouldn't say it's razor sharp, but the tips on these are pointed, and you start sinking. Those points just start stabbing you. Not very comfortable at all. If you don't like briars, don't get into the needle rush. Stick to the brown grass, and there's paths. There's paths where the hunters are walking, but these are also deer paths, raccoon paths, fox tracks. Everything are just running these little trails, and if you stick to them, you're going to be okay. Later in the video, I'll have a map, a topographical map of the different streams and ponds that are out here. I found where I want to set up for the day. This is a little tributary that bleeds into the James River. The ducks will actually travel along these little streams, picking up minnows, things of that nature. And what I'll do is I'll sit down in this thick stuff in the back and just wait for them to swim by. Ducks will fly over, stuff like that, but I'm just not that great at calling them in. So I'll sit here and wait for them to come by and pop up and jump shoot them. Been sitting here for about an hour, and finally I hear something coming up the stream. I can barely see him. Man. When I got here, it was totally dry. The tide is now incoming, and it is pushing everything up into marsh. Unfortunately, it pushed the duck on the other side of the stream there, so now I'm gonna have to get my way across. It gets real muddy real fast here, so I gotta go put on my hip waders. I got my hip waders on, and I'm working my way around to where the duck is, and you'll notice I am breathing heavy. It's because I keep sinking down into this mud, and it's always a little nerve-wracking because it's cold out here, and you start sinking in the mud. You go down a foot or two, and it starts getting hard to pull your feet out. And I am out of shape, man. I'm not as young as I used to, so I'm working my way through the muck and the mud, and try not to fall in and fill up my hip waders, my bib, but I'm getting to it. It's just getting old as a bitch. My wife's been getting on me about getting a dog. Maybe I can talk her into a black lab or maybe a golden retriever. I didn't see a whole lot more over the next 2 hours, and since I've got a mile walk back, I figure I'll go ahead and head on back. But I really appreciate you guys watching. Please like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the map at the end of this video. Please like and subscribe. See you next time.
How's it going?
How you doing, bud?
I'm getting there. It's a hell of a walk.
How far back were you?
All the way.
I'm heading to the 4th island. You see anything in it?
A couple ducks.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I saw deer out here all the time before Thanksgiving, but it was always doe.
Right.